Greetings to you all. My name is Yasmin Baltiwala. Or A4ID as we're known. It is my privilege and pleasure on behalf of A4ID to welcome you all to our inaugural annual conference on pro bono for the rule of law. Wherever you are around the world and whatever time it is in your location, we're really delighted that you've decided to spend some part of the next 2 days with us. The theme of this year's conference is towards a more just post-pandemic world. COVID-19 has affected how we all live and work, and this includes having an impact on the rule of law across the world. The pandemic has created new challenges for upholding human rights around the world, including the basic right of access to healthcare and the basic need to ensure that legal institutions can continue to provide access to justice and to provide justice for all, and not just for the few. The challenges of the pandemic have coincided with other global issues and masked them. These issues include the imperative to achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goals, which are at the heart of all we do at A4ID. When we first envisioned this conference back in 2018, we had a very different event in mind. In 2018, we were only thinking about an in-person event, of course, like almost all other conferences were back then. The past 18 months has challenged A4ID to change how we deliver our activities. Our pro bono brokerage service has risen to meet the surge in demand, with more and more charitable organisations looking to us to link them with world-class legal services that will enable them to deliver their work. Our training programmes for legal pro bono professionals have switched us to an online format. The rule of law partnerships facilitated by the Roll UK programme have been delivering successful change in many countries across the world, including Malawi, Nigeria and Nepal, even while events could only be held remotely. So with this in mind, and seeing the great successes that our partners and our colleagues have also had with their online activities, we've been part of this energetic Mexican wave. We are delighted to hold this conference online, and particularly to be able to welcome our partners from around the world. We hope that you have had the opportunity to look through our programme and find the sessions that most interest you. There is still time to choose the specific sessions of greatest interest, so please do so. Also, do note that we have some uplifting activities planned between panels today. In particular, our Spark Talks immediately are available after this panel, as well as a surprisingly accessible and effectively remote yoga session later in the afternoon for those of us who are feeling the effects of a fatigue as a result of a day in Zoom land. But let me get to the formalities. We are grateful, indeed very grateful, to the Foreign and Commonwealth and Development Office, the FCDO, who, through their support to the Roll UK programme, have enabled us to deliver this event today. We are delighted especially to welcome Lord Ahmad of Wimbledon, who is the Minister of State for South Asia and the Commonwealth, and he will say a few words. Regrettably, however, Lord Ahmad cannot be with us, but he was keen to support us, and so he sent through a message for us, which we will listen to now.
Good morning. It's a great pleasure to formally open the inaugural annual conference for Advocates for International Development, and to extend a very warm welcome to all participants and speakers taking part in this important event. I'm regrettably unable to join you in person, but I didn't want them to miss the opportunity to mark the remarkable achievements of Advocates for International Development, particularly in what has been an extremely difficult year for all of us. The pandemic has, of course, played havoc with our health, our economies, and the way we live our day-to-day lives. But at a time when governments have placed unprecedented limits on individual freedoms, it has also highlighted the importance of standing up for the rule of law. Of course, without a doubt, a government's first duty is to protect the safety, its security and well-being of each and every citizen. And we are all aware that we have been battling an entirely new enemy. However, too often around the world, we have seen these measures applied in a way that violates the very basic principles that underpin our vision for open, stronger, prosperous and democratic societies. I firmly believe that the rule of law, supported by the transparent and effective justice systems and institutions, safeguards these very values I've articulated. Not only that, but the last year has also shown that upholding the rule of law contributes to a more effective pandemic response by building trust between the state and its citizens, by building trust between communities and a country's institutions. It is here, therefore, the work of this organisation, Advocates for International Development, is so important and so vital. Harnessing the remarkable expertise of the United Kingdom's pro bono sector, you have developed strong and sustainable partnerships between our world-leading justice institutions and law firms and their counterparts, particularly in developing countries around the world. And the UK is proud to have supported Advocates for International Development through the Roll UK programme, which has built 41 such partnerships in over 30 countries. Whether it's helping the legal community in Nepal to implement the new human rights provisions in their constitution, or training judges in the Gambia to manage a case of backlog caused by the pandemic, you have truly exemplified the UK as a force for good around the world. This idea that we can act as a force for good around the world is, I assure you, at the heart of our government's approach, recently qualified and detailed and published in the Integrated Review. As the Foreign Secretary has also set out, this is about the UK drawing on our economic, our military, our diplomatic, but also our development clout to stand up for the values of open societies. Your work here makes a powerful addition and an important contribution to that very offer. This has never been so critical. Rule of law principles are being strongly challenged within countries and in the international system. The World Justice Project's reports Rule of Law Index for 2020 shows a steady global deterioration in the rule of law for the third year in a row. 4.5 billion people remain locked out of accessing justice mechanisms to resolve their issues and their problems. So the theme of this inaugural conference is especially appropriate, and I'm particularly delighted that the conference is being used to launch Advocates for International Development's new flagship paper, Defining the Rule of Law, Improved Laws, Institutions and Practices. By defining the terminology and highlighting the institutions that underpin the rule of law, this paper sets a bold new agenda for the international development community. So once again, in thanking you, let me finish by saying, I think the challenges before us are of course daunting, but at the same time, the opportunities are great and exciting. I also know that the Integrated Review has brought real vigour and renewed ambition. I sense there is also a renewed appreciation for the rule of law. And therefore I also believe that there remains even more untapped potential in the UK's pro bono sector to support partners around the world. I look forward to hearing how, over the next 2 days, you plan to seize these opportunities, meet the challenges which exist, and the work of Advocates for International Development, how it grows into the future to meet these ever-evolving challenges. Thank you once again, and my best wishes and best of luck for the conference ahead.
So thank you very much indeed, Lord Ahmad, for your very kind words. We are grateful indeed for your support. And thank you for introducing our paper on defining the rule of law, improved laws, institutions and practices, which I think you will be able to find available on our chat function.